Hey guys, and welcome to Abir Speaks. In this video, let us talk about the game between Chelsea and Manchester City. So, this game ended with a victory for Manchester City, and they are now 6 points behind the league leaders Arsenal. And Manchester City have put in through a really tough fight, and now they're finally coming behind Arsenal. Next week, Man City are, of course, playing Arsenal, and it all depends on that game, really. If Man City win that game, it's more likely that Man City are winning the Premier League. So, the game next Saturday is everything really that is important for Man City currently at this state. So let us first talk about the game between Chelsea. Manchester City obviously had a brilliant attacking lineup. They had the best defense as well. Donnarumma on goal, Kusanov as centre back, Matheus Nunes as right back, Mark Gay as centre back, and left back Nico Riley, who's been exceptional and excellent for Manchester City. And then Bernardo Silva and Rodri, Semenyo, Doku, Cherki, and Erling Haaland up front. It was a really brilliant lineup, if I'm being honest, and it was just missing a little flair, and I think that was Phil Foden who was missing from the squad. But other than that, Manchester City had a brilliant lineup, and in the first half, it was Chelsea that were completely dominating the game. Chelsea had created multiple chances, and Man City were not able to clear the ball at all, and they couldn't exactly get it onto their side. Man City's shots on target were not that precise. But unlike them, Chelsea had played really good. At the start of the first 5 minutes, only Kukurea had scored a goal, but it was offside and it didn't count, luckily. And then Manchester City were again struggling with possession based. Chelsea had more possession than them in the first half, but then in the second half, it was Manchester City who had come on top. In the first half, a few chances were in fact missed. One was by Erling Haaland, who had received a brilliant ball from Ryan Cherky, and Erling Haaland, it was through the box. It was played by Ryan Cherky, and Erling Haaland tried to push it in, but it was quickly blocked by Fofana. And then a second chance was Matheus Nunes kept trying to cross the ball in the center to find Erling Haaland, but it kept getting intercepted by defenders. Other than that, there were no major chances that Manchester City had, but other teams did have chances. Chelsea obviously had shots on target. Cole Palmer had taken strike many times against Donnarumma, tried to catch him on the near post, but Donnarumma had saved it. And after that goal, it was Manchester City who had also tried to take shots against Sanchez, but no luck at all. And then in the second half, right when the second half started, Manchester City were playing more confident. They had the ball more often, and Manchester City were continuously pressing towards the box, and they were like playing passes around, waiting for a mistake by the defense. And when there was a mistake, they could just punish Chelsea. That was what Manchester City were trying to do the entire second half. And eventually, Chelsea had gotten impatient, and as soon as they got impatient, Manchester City had finally gotten the chance to punish Chelsea, and it was Cherky who had given a cross in, and no one was marking Nico Riley because they had expected the ball to actually go to Erling Haaland. Because of that, Fofana was just standing behind O'Reilly, and he was trying to get the ball away, but Fofana had no luck in doing that, and Nico Riley had just headed the ball, and it had gone inside. It was a brilliant header. The pace was also really fast, and there was no chance that Sanchez could ever save that. And like that, it was 1-0 to Manchester City. And then Chelsea started playing really sloppy. Like you could feel like they had lost all the momentum in the game, and that they didn't want to actually play. And Chelsea were actually playing terrible after the first goal happened. A lot of mistakes in basic passing. They couldn't get the ball wide, and they actually had taken no shots until that. And after Nico O'Reilly had scored, it was another goal by Jeremy Doku, and it was Mark Gay's goal at last. But the second goal was, I think it was Mark Gay who had scored the second goal. It was a corner kick, actually, and Chelsea had again, it was Sanchez, he had held the ball for a long time, and then it was a corner as per the new rules. And After that, Manchester City had got in the corner, and Ryan Cherky had quickly taken it because he had seen all the Chelsea players like regrouping and just positioning themselves. So he figured out this could be an opportunity for Manchester City to get a quick counter attack. He played it short to Doku, and then Doku played it back to Cherky. Cherky went inside the box. He did a few skills. He got past one defender. He got past two. It was kind of clear he was gonna shoot because he was in a shooting angle, but then Ryan Cherky squeezed it in the gap, which no player could ever see. It was a brilliant ball to the gap, and then Mark Gay's finishing was really good. And he had just taken a touch. He had turned outside, knocking all the defenders on the opposite way, and then Ryan Cherky had just. And then after that, Ryan Cherky moved forward, expecting a pass from Mark Gay, but Mark Gay had just taken shot, and it had just slid through the bottom corner. And then 5 minutes after that, Chelsea made a mistake that led to the third goal. It was made by Caicedo. Sanchez was equally responsible for it, in fact. So Man City again had a high press, and they tried to take shot. Mateusz Kovacic had tried to take shot, and he had skied it. And after that, Sanchez had taken the goal kick quickly. He had passed it to Caicedo, and as soon as he had passed it to Caicedo, he was unaware. Three players already started pressing towards Caicedo. Caicedo tried to hold the ball and like shield it away, but he couldn't do that. Physicality wore him out. And the next thing he knew was that Jeremy Doku had just taken the ball from Caicedo, and Doku dribbled all the way through, and he had just taken shot. And Sanchez was like standing middle. He was expecting Doku to take shot the other way, but then Doku just took it just straight towards where Sanchez was standing. He could just dive right. He just took it straight there, and there was no chance that Sanchez could save that at all. It was really, really surprising. And like that was 3-0. But Doku also played really well. The way he kept making those excellent dribbles, and the way he just kept making runs through, crossing the ball, playing with Ryan Cherky was amazing, and that was exactly how Man City had beaten Chelsea. And then Kukurea had gotten a last-minute shot on goal, which it had actually like went real. It was a half volley. It was a volley, in fact, the far range shot, and Kukurea just shot it, but. It was 3-0, and that's good. It's good that Manchester City have gotten the clean sheet, because even though Manchester City are 5 points behind, 6 points behind Arsenal, they'll be winning the next game against Arsenal shortly. That would make Manchester City 3 points behind Arsenal. They'll probably win the game against Burnley. But Manchester City are supposed to keep clean sheets because Arsenal are ahead of them on goal difference. So that is the only thing that Manchester City need to keep in mind before anything can happen to them for the title, because it's unexpected. Premier League is really unexpected. If you looked at last week, like last time a Premier League match happened, a month actually, it seemed like Arsenal could win the Premier League. But now, if you look now, it seems like Man City can win the Premier League. It was 9 points back then. Now it's literally gonna be a 0 point difference, and that is what I think should be happening. Manchester City need to win the Premier League, and I have a feeling that Arsenal are somehow going to throw away their lead. I think they're going to be facing Chelsea sometime soon, and Arsenal ought to lose a game. It's just an intuition that I'm getting. So if Man City are facing Arsenal, it's at the Etihad, which is a home advantage. And I think the best lineup for Manchester City at that stage would be the same back four, like I said, with Donnarumma, Mark Gay, Kusanov, Matheus Nunes, and Nico Rai. That is if he's fine. If Nico Rai is not fine, because he got in a hamstring injury against Chelsea, then Ait Nouri can come in. And other than Ait Nouri, Rodri I would be putting. Bernardo Silva, I might not put Bernardo Silva. I might put Foden instead, because he came in for 10 minutes and he played really, really good. And then again, the same Semenyo, Doku, Cherky. And then after that, Rodri again, and Erling Haaland on goal. And that's what I think should be Manchester City's lineup against Arsenal. Just one change. I really want Foden to be in the starting lineup. Other than that, it seems perfectly fine. And hopefully Manchester City can get the expected result. Anyway, thank you for watching, and my next video is going to be next Sunday when Manchester City play Arsenal. Anyway, I will see you in my next video. Thank you.